Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are back in our gorgeous TBM-930 and we're going to be flying from Miami Executive over to Key West. Should be a pretty fun flight, trying something new, never flown out there before, so we're going to give it a shot today and see how it all goes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the aircraft, get her powered on so we can get some electrical power and get our ATIS information. We are going to be using Pilot2ATC today, assuming that nothing goes wrong and everything works the way we expect it to. So let's see what happens. Alright, so jumping into our beautiful bird, first thing we're going to do is come up top. We're going to get our crash bar turned up, get the battery on, get the gen on. We're going to check our ignition, make sure it's set to on, auxiliary boost pump set to on, fuel selection down to manual, autopilot system trims are off, ELT is armed, oxygen can stay off for now. And we are set and ready to go. We'll go ahead and turn our nav lights on. And we'll turn the pulse lights on. Alright, and without any further delay, let's go down to the cockpit for a second. We want to make sure our air conditioning is turned off. Hot airflow is set to the floorboard for startup. Bleed is in the off position. All heaters and inertial separator are turned off. And everything else looks good. Manual override is off. Throttle is in cutoff. Flaps are secure. Alright, let's go up top. Give her a start. Take our ignition. Oops, wrong switch. Take our starter. Give it a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Probably should turn on the Garmin. That would help. Looking for 13%. We're going to advance our throttle into the low idle position. Looking for 53% on the NG compressor, and we're going to bring it on over to flight idle. So there's 53, up to high idle, up over the gate, and back down into flight idle. We can clear that master caution. Let's give the doors a close. Alright, so now that we've got that all squared away, we'll come down, take a look at our CAS warnings, pitot heat ignition, and boost pumps. Alright, so let's come up top. We're going to set our ignition into the auto position, auxiliary boost pumps up into the auto position, fuel selection to auto, autopilot trims can now be turned on, and according to the pilot's operational handbook, guys, this is why I'm doing this. I know there's been a lot of debate, but according to the POH that I found from TBM, oxygen master switch does turn on at engine start. Okay, and then the taxi light we can leave off for now. Alright, so with that all said and done, let's go ahead and continue on with getting our ATIS information.
Executive Information Sierra, 2153 Zulu winds are 166 at 9 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 5,000 scattered. Temperature 25. Dew point 13. Current altimeter is 29904. Arriving and departing runway 09 left, 09 right. Miami Executive Information.
Okay, so we're looking for runway 09. So with that in mind, now we'll move on over to SimBrief, get our flight plan created, and then we'll get it copied over into Pilot2ATC. Alright, so jumping into SimBrief, I've already created the flight plan, but I'll walk you guys through it real quick here. There's actually one adjustment we need to make. So I just picked any airline, overkill air transit's what I call it. Flight number, didn't really care, just picked something here. But we're going from Kilo Tango Mike Bravo over to Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey with an alternate of Miami. We have the airframe set for the TBM-930 series. We're going to scroll on down. I have fuel factor at minus 45%. And a lot of people still don't catch what this one is. What this means is SimBrief typically gives you, at least for me, I have found, gives you way more fuel than what you actually need. So what it's going to do is it's going to take your flight plan. It's going to say, all right, based on the information you've entered, here's how much gas I want to give you. And what we're doing is we're saying, okay, of that amount, take 45% of it away and give me what's left over. Okay, you can do, there's M for minus and P for plus if you need to add fuel. All right. We have a departure of 09 right, arriving runway aiming for 09, but we'll see what happens here. I guess that's going to be based on winds. Flight level, we're actually going to change that. Let's just do, let's see here. We're going west, so that should be what, 220, just 22,000 feet. Passengers and cargo with the TBM, I leave these as default because every time I try to add it, I'm either fighting with Microsoft Flight Simulator to get the balancing right, or it just gives me weird numbers. So no harm, no foul. We're in it for the flight, not the weight. And then we have our route. Looks like just 2 direct primary waypoints. There'll probably be a couple waypoints in between, but we'll see what happens. But we're going from, let's see here, Mike November Alpha Tango Echo over to Mike Tango Hotel. So it shouldn't be too bad. Looks like a pretty short trip. We're looking at, let's see, what's our distance here? Anybody remember? I almost never look at this for the distance, and now I'm trying to find it, and now I can't find it. There we go. Route distance, 113 nautical miles, so not too bad. So actually, I'm actually going to change the altitude even further. I think we're going to do like, let's do flight level 160, okay? And that's just because, again, 113 nautical miles, that's not very much at all. So, well, okay, fine. You know what? No. Keep it 220. That's still high enough. Gives us a good climb and a good descent. Okay, all right. So from here, we're going to hit Generate OFP for Operational Flight Plan. Now, normally at this point, I'm still going to print the PDF preview. I like to have it on hand in case I need it. But normally at this point, I would enter it in manually into the computer, which we're still going to do for Microsoft Flight Simulator. But entering into Pilot2ATC, I do find that using the shortcut is a bit easier and less cumbersome. So we're going to find this FS2020 file here. We're going to hit download. Okay, once that's finished, I'm going to bring up the Pilot2ATC here. And we're going to go to Import Flight Plan. I'm just going to click on that guy right there, bring it in. And perfect. Now, the only other thing that it's probably going to tell us to do is to pick a SID, but we're not going to be using one, so hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. So validation's clear, and let's do file. Alright, your IFR flight plan must include an IFR approach at the arrival airport. Would you like to add the recommended approach? We're going to hit no. Manually add an IFR approach to ATC. So let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Approach, not star. Why was I thinking star? You know what? Here, let's do file again. And we can tell it yes. That's fine. I was thinking star, not approach. I don't know why I was thinking that. Okay, but that is it. So our flight plan is now filed. The aircraft is started. Now, normally, obviously, this would happen beforehand, but because of the way we need to get the information from ATIS, at this point, now we'll go in and set our fuel, make sure it's set correctly for the aircraft. All right, so sitting back in the seat here, the next thing we're going to do is there's a mod down in the description below. There's a link to this in the description below. There is now a sim brief attachment. Now, I was messing around with this earlier, and what I did find is that creating the flight plan via this method was a real pain in the backside, if you catch my drift. And so there's 2 things that I would do here. First thing is, on a notepad, type out your username and password. And then copy them over. Because the problem with this theory is that you can still see, like, something happened right there. I think we triggered an autopilot. But we should be turning it back off here. Yep, we did. Anyway, so we'll log in there. When you have this up, the simulator still copies the keystrokes. So what we can do is go My Flight Plan here. And this is the most recent flight plan that you've entered. So this part does still make it a bit easier to enter some of this information in, because now I actually don't need anything else up on my screen. I have access to the PDF if I want. You know, I'm actually kind of curious what happens if we click that. Nothing. Okay. And this is just new. I think it just released today, so we'll give them some time here to figure that all out. All right. So next thing here is we need to set up our weights. So we're going to come here, and we're going to take a look at this guy. And I need to know how much gas we need to put in her. That's the only one I'm really concerned about. Where's my block fuel at? There it is. 594 pounds is what we're looking at for fuel for today. So let's come up top. And let's switch that to pounds. There's our fuel. We're at 947 pounds. So let's bring that down. And what were we looking for? 594. We can, you know what, let's go err on the side of caution, go a little higher. All right, there we go. All right, so we got our payload set. I'm not worried about anything else, just the fuel. So we can close this now. And now let's enter in our route. And actually, I did still need that. Darn it. Oh, cool. That's handy. It's still there. So let's scroll on down again. And I always find the PDF the easiest thing to read. And so here's what we're looking for right here. Now, what I don't know if we can do, I don't see a way to zoom. So that would be nice, but that's okay. And I think expanding the window, doesn't change anything. Let me see what happens if we go... Nope, just makes it longer. So it's got some work, but still kind of cool. And the only reason why this is hard for me to read is because I'm in 4K. Alright, so now let's go down to the MFD and get our flight plan information entered. So with that in mind, we can actually do this. And let's pull it up here, and there we go. So this will still make that a lot easier. Alright, so now let's go to the, nope, not PFD, MFD. Go to our flight plan, add our origin, and we are at, I always forget again. This is why I have to write these things down all the time. Kilo, Tango, Mike, Bravo. Enter. Sorry, I thought I heard the engine cut out. At our destination of Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey. Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey. Enter. All right, and then add our en route waypoint. And our first one is Mike, November, Alpha, Tango, Echo. Enter. And add the next one. Mike, Tango, Hotel. And enter. And then now the only procedure we need to worry about, so what we can do here, and I do that all the time, is we can hit done on entering the route. And then we're going to go back to the MFD homepage, go back to, go to procedures, and the only thing that we're going to enter is the approach. We're not using a SID today, and we're not using a star, so we just need the approach. Into Key West, and we are looking for the RNAV runway 9er. And the transition, if we check our flight route, I think I went too far. There's top of descent coordinates. There we go. All right. So what we're going to do is pull up Navigraph. So we want to verify we have our transition correct. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing, man. All right. So from here, Kilo Yankee. Nope, I did it again. Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey. Got it this time. There's Key West. And 09er. Duh. Look at this. And let's see what our transition is here. Oh, it looks like we have the strap or the sting. Strap looks like it's probably going to be more conducive to our flight plan, but I mean, it's one direction or the other. Sixes looks like. So in that case, we'll use the strap. All right, and we will load the approach, but we will not activate it as we are not ready for the approach. Okay, so we have everything we need for our flight plan. Now let's just get ready to configure the rest of the aircraft to get out of here. All right, so moving on over to the PFD, we're just going to set a few things here. You can see that we currently have the VOR as our nav source. We don't want that. We want it to be on the FMS for a flight management computer. We can set the bearing needles if you so choose. That's going to be these guys here and this one here. And it looks like bearing 1 is on. I think I'd rather have it like that. So this is the bearing to our first waypoint, 48.4 nautical miles, and we've got an arrow indicating the direction. Speed bugs. We're going to be looking at a rotation speed of 80 knots today is what it shows here, but we're going to switch that up to 90. That's going to be rotation plus 10. Gives you better climb out. And as far as climb speed, we're going to be looking at best rate. So we're going to be going for 115 knots, but we could probably do a bit better than that. I think I'm going to push that up to about 122 knots for our speed bugs. And then the approach bug, when it comes time to come on in, we will be looking at 85 knots. Alright, so going back on our minimums here, we're going to make sure we set the 200 default. This is the altitude at which, for any reason, we did not make visual contact with the runway. We would declare a missed approach and go around. Alright, so we're just going to click those on, and we're going to want that to be on the radio altimeter. And let's set that to 200 feet. And you can see that is put in right here. And I think, other than that, we are ready to roll, guys. Let's go PFD map settings. Everything looks okay here. The inset map. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to turn the inset map off. Honestly, it's just more clutter. I don't like a lot of clutter. I mean, I'm sure these all serve great purposes. I don't like the AOA. I do like the synthetic terrain, the wind option, and the barometer in inches. Barometer? How'd you guys like that? All right, folks, so at this point now it's just a matter of getting the aircraft configured for taxiing. We are going to get out of here. You need to make sure that you set your air conditioning back to your comfort and desired level. Pressurization, set that to max diff or auto bleed, and make sure the inertial separator is turned on for taxi. Make sure you keep the flaps up and secured for taxi. Why are you guys turned on? I do not want the pilot bodies on, especially given the fact that mine's a check. All right, we're going to come up here. We're going to set our initial altitude, hopefully for around 5,000, but we'll see what happens. We may get cleared higher than that by ATC, which will get our clearance in just a minute, and then we'll get our taxi instructions. With that in mind, let's simply get the taxi light turned on, do one last quick check of the overhead panel, and we are golden. Initial separator caution light, that is normal. And so now, let's contact clearance and see if we can't get authorization to get on about our day. Alright, so now let's see about getting our clearance information. Sorry if the mic was a little crazy in the beginning there, guys. Really fighting with it lately. It's like one day it's one thing, the next day it's another. Alright, so let me take a look at my chart over here. And let's contact clearance and delivery. So let's move on down to our radios here. And 133 is it. Okay, so we're already set. Executive clearance, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, ready to copy IFR.
2 Alpha Tango, you have not been given clearance yet.
That's what I was trying to ask for. Oh! Wait a minute, no, I filed it. What happened? Let's try that again. It says we're filed. Clearance, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, ready to copy IFR.
2 Alpha Tango, you were garbled. Please say again.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, ready to copy IFR.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango is cleared to Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey as filed. Expect departure runway 09 right. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.5. Squawk 5410.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango is cleared to Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Expect higher clearance 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.5. Squawk 5410. TBM-2 Alpha Tango.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, read back correct.
Cool.
Altimeter 2994, contact ground on 121.7 when ready to taxi. Enjoy your evening.
All right, let's get out of here. Executive ground, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, request taxi to runway 09 right.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango taxi to runway 09 right via taxiways 16, Echo, hold short runway 31, and runway 09 right.
Taxi to runway 09 right via taxiways 16 Echo, hold short runway 31 and runway 09 right, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Alright, let's get out of here. Give me a second, Oh, did I close it? That was dumb. Totally did. Alright, give me a second here. Taking a look at our taxi chart. Okay, so literally we're turning around and taking the taxiway all the way down. Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us taxi. Parking brake released. Sorry, Fred. Or actually, I think that was a lady. Sorry, Julia. Been a long time since I've been in RTBM. Not since I published the last version of the guide, which the new guide is on its way. A few more things added to it, a couple of corrections. Set our nav, set our flight directors. Set our flight level control. Give me a second here, guys. There. So the problem is, and the reason why my camera goes crazy, is my Bravo throttle quadrant is right next to me, but it's just far enough away that the track IR loses focus. So in order to look down at it, it gets all wonky and silly.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango clear to cross runway 13.
Clear to cross runway 13, TBM-2 Alpha Tango.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango contact tower on 118.9er. Have a great flight.
Contact tower 1189er. TBM-2 Alpha Tango, thank you. Alright, I'm going to pause here for just a second and see what happens if I can move my... I'm going to see if I can move my throttle quadrant over so that stops. Alright, I think that's going to be better. Whoa, what was that about? Tower, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, ready for departure.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango winds are 166 at 9 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 09 right, squawk 5410, maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then turn right heading 224 to intercept course.
Maintain heading until above 1000 feet, then right heading 224 for course. TBM-2 Alpha Tango.
Aircraft calling tower, say again with your call sign.
Dang it. Climb and maintain, or climb. Dang it.
Aircraft calling tower, say again with your
Let's
call
try
sign.
that again. Fly runway heading until above 1000 feet, right heading 224, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Oops, went too far. You son of a gun. Forgot it was going to do that. Alright, there we go. We should be set. Alright, so let's go flaps 1 for takeoff. Last quick check. Separators on. Let's go pitot heats on. And we are ready to go. Takeoff power set. Knots. Gear coming up. Flaps up. Power back. There's our 1000 feet. I'm going to do yaw damper on and autopilot on. Make our right head.
2 Alpha Tango, climb and maintain 14,000 feet, contact Miami departure on 125.5. Have a good evening.
Climb and maintain 14,000 feet, contact departure. TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Dang it. Departure, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, climbing through 3,000 with you.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, good evening. Squawk 5410. TBM-2 Alpha Tango, radar contact.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and disable the heading mode and turn on to our course. Landing lights off. Okay. There we go. And we are clear from takeoff. Skies are clear. We'll go ahead and disable the inertial separator, get some of that power back. At this point, we'll watch our torque increase quite a bit. Looking good. And you know what would be really helpful? Is if I turned on nav mode. These things, man, you'd like to believe they're like riding a bike, but they're just not. You quit flying them for a minute and you lose it. Pretty awesome. I can never get over the scenery, man. Some of these areas just, they're mind-blowing. Sometimes you get the sunlight just right, the shading just right, the graphics settings just right, and in the right aircraft, and sometimes you have a hard time telling, is this TV or a simulator? It's really impressive. I love it. For anyone just joining us, we're passing through 13,000. Look.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Climb and maintain flight level 240, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Anyway, as you can see, we're on our way climbing up to our cruise altitude. We're departing from Executive at Miami Executive, I should say, and heading on over to Key West in the TBM-930. Should be a fun little flight. So far been uneventful. Rocking Pilot2ATC, as you just heard. It's been pretty smooth so far. Knock on wood. By the way, guys, we're also using Rex Weather Force for our weather engine. So far with the latest update, I have to say, it's been pretty flawless so far. Haven't had any issues with it. I stopped using it for quite a while because every time I tried to use it, something would crash. But I haven't had that issue with this latest release, so good news there. I wish they'd create an auto updater so you didn't have to uninstall it and reinstall it every single time. That part I hate. That's just, not to sound mean, but it's 2021. Come on now. Let's catch up with the programs here. Yeah, see what I did there? Catch up with the program. Anyway, I don't know. Bad. My bad. Just forget that I said that. While we're climbing up to altitude, I'd also like to take a moment and thank all of my subscribers, and especially my Patreon subscribers. 172 of them as of today. I can't tell you guys how grateful I am for it. It gives me motivation. It gives me just an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. That so many of you are finding so much value in the work that I do. It is extremely hard work. You guys wouldn't believe what it takes to create some of these. You other content creators who might be watching this, you understand the pains. It's a lot of hours lost of free time and family time, and it's really nice to get that kind of feedback and get that kind of support, and have people be willing to dedicate themselves to a specific channel or you know, specific goals, and it really it keeps the fight going, and it keeps us from losing motivation to the people who don't have such nice things to say and do try to bring you down. It really makes a difference having all of your support. So thank you very much. It really does mean a lot, and I don't want you guys to think that any of it goes unnoticed. The other thing is the comments on the videos, guys. You guys are building such a community here with this channel, and I love it. I do read through as many of the comments as I can. I don't have as much time as I used to sit and respond to them because there's so many, but I do try to respond to when I can. But the amount of information you guys are sharing, I mean, I have learned so much from you guys. Hopefully, just as much from you guys as you guys are, again, hopefully learning from me. But it's really cool to see, and that's exactly what I had envisioned when I first created this channel. This channel was based strictly on tutorials for DCS World when I started. And then just seeing all the information being shared back and forth, whether it be flight information or hardware information, troubleshooting steps, things like that. You guys are really... What do we got going on there? Cabin pressure. Why is cabin pressure an issue? Why are we having a pressurization issue? Oxygen's on. Shouldn't be anything up there.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango climb and maintain flight level 340.
You are not sending me up to 34,000 feet. TBM-2 Alpha Tango request flight level 240.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango climb and maintain flight level 240.
Climb and maintain 240, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. 34,000 feet. Are you kidding me? Keep an eye on that, see if that equalizes. I don't know why we're having a pressurization issue. I wonder. Hang on a second. No, can't do that. Green is locked, right? It's not letting me unlock it, so I would assume so. I don't know why we're not pressurizing. I know one thing has nothing to do with the other. I'm just curious if there's a bug here somewhere. I've never had a pressurization warning. It looks like are we starting to equalize? Or is it climbing? So, for those of you guys who are with me and have never seen this before, so my understanding is what this is. Basically, this means that the outside to inside air pressure has a difference of 6 pounds per...
Alpha Tango contact Miami Center on 124.7. Good day.
1247 for TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Miami Center, TBM-2 Alpha Tango at flight level 240 with you. Miami Center, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, flight level 240 with you. What's Miami Center in it? Hang on, I'm checking out the frequencies. 124.7, Miami Center. Why aren't we getting a response? Center, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, flight level 240 with you. Miami Center.
Aircraft calling
there it
center,
goes.
say again with your call sign.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango with you.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, this is Miami Center on 124.7. Please repeat your
There.
request.
Center, TBM-2 Alpha Tango, flight level 240 with you. This is weird. Miami Center, TBM-2 Alpha Tango at 24,000 with you.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, good evening. Squawk 5410.
Why did my transponder code change?
TBM-2 Alpha Tango radar contact.
Oh, I didn't set it in Pilot2ATC. There it goes, so we equalized. That's really weird.
Transition to 1,500 feet.
Descend via the strap transition to 1,500, TBM-2 Alpha Tango.
Aircraft calling center, say again with your call sign.
You putz! Descend via the strap transition to 1,500, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. I gotta do some more training with the voice thing. Alright, so at least I didn't jump the gun too bad, but he was making me nervous. But I guess I need to have more faith. So as we're on the descent, we're going to bring the inertial separator back on.
Kiwi Saint International Information Tango, 2253 Zulu, winds are 004 at 8 knots. Visibility 10 miles. Skies clear. Temperature 24, dew point 14. Current altimeter is 29904.
Okay. There it is, right there. Guess we had plenty of time. I was worrying for now. I was never worried. I was fine. I was never worried. Everything was great. We're great, right? I mean, yeah, guys. Whoa, wig out. Alright, we've activated the approach phase. Actually, let's do this. Let's go procedures over here. Let's go back to the PFD here. Or nav comms, excuse me. There we go. Darn it. What's weird is it was working just fine. Like earlier, I could turn my head, look back to the back of the cabin, and now I can't. Like, what the crap, man? And it doesn't matter, like, nope. Maybe the batteries are dying. I don't know. Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. At least I don't have to look to the right. Not like there's much out there, but, you know, still. That's kind of a cool island train. Approaching 10,000. Lights going back on.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango altimeter 29904 and Kiwi Saint International Contact Tower on 118.2. Have a good evening.
Oops, wrong button. 118.2 TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Tower TBM-2 Alpha Tango descending through 10,000 for runway 09er.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango, good evening. Radar contact. Continue RNAV to runway 09, call when established on final.
Roger that. We are still so freaking high. Alright, let me look at this. We're at 10 miles basically from the airfield, which means we should be down at 3,000 feet. We're at 9,000 feet. Yeah, no. They had us descend too late. Okay, so we're going to go into heading mode. And I'm going to do a quick circuit. Oops. Switch that down to heading. We're just going to give us time to get our descent. Because we are way too high. So for anybody just joining at this point, we were just getting ready to turn final, but the problem is we were 10 miles out and still at 9,000 feet. The Pilot2ATC had us descend way too late. And that was descending at 2,000 feet per minute initially. So we're just doing a quick circuit, trying to bleed off some of this altitude, and then we'll come back around. That should be good enough. Let's turn it back around. Alright, and I think at this point we'll go ahead and go back into nav mode. And I'm going to put her into approach mode as well. Oh, we are way above the glide slope. So I think we'll go with vertical speed again, because that was my fault. And start descending again. Descend a bit faster. Good. Come on, glide slope. There, captured. Alright, so now we can set our target altitude for 2,000 in case we need to go around. Pulling that power back. Gear coming down. About 6 knots fast, but we got it. Takeoff flap set. Looking for 85 knots on the approach. Still got plenty of time. There's landing flaps. Get some of that power back on.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango winds are 008 at 8 knots, cleared to land runway 09.
Clear to land runway 09, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Oh, baby. No stuttering. Gosh, I hate it when it stutters on the approach.
500, 500, 500, 500, 500.
A little high. A lot of high. Come on, baby. There we go. Landing. Power off.
TBM-2 Alpha Tango exit runway when able.
Exit runway when able, TBM-2 Alpha Tango. Well, that roll was BS. I would have expected a longer roll than that. That sucks, because that was resolved for a while. She had a pretty good landing roll there for a minute, but that was a whopping 12 feet. But is what it is, I guess. All right, friends. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this little flight. It was definitely a little interesting there at the end. We definitely didn't get the information that we should have as early as we should have as far as in regard to the descent. But other than that, I mean, everything still went perfectly fine. Let's let that throttle sit back. It's got to sit back for a bit. Let the engine cool down. Anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the description down below, or in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, folks.